Hey, what's going on, everybody? Bernie Dyke here. Going to do a quick little podcast tonight. I want to say thank you to everybody that's taken the time to watch the videos and like and share. Really appreciate it. A lot of time goes into chopping those up and editing them and making sure they're somewhat funny, hopefully. Couple things I wanted to talk about tonight is I don't even remember now. One of them was not getting gratitude. Have you ever done something, held a door for somebody, gone out of your way to help somebody, and they almost try to not be thankful for it? And I don't specifically just mean holding the door, because if you're the person that holds the door for somebody then gets mad when they don't say thank you, then it's going to be a rough day for you almost every day. But I'm talking about, other things. I remember one night on Christmas, I think it was Christmas Eve, my wife and I, we went out to Boston Market, fine establishment of Boston Market. Must have been feeling a little homesick. And we went out to get some dinner, and as we were walking in, we were walking out. We had already finished our dinner. We'd stood in line, got all our food, and we were getting ready to leave, and we were walking through the parking lot. And as I passed a van, it was a Dodge Caravan, I'll remember this forever probably, I heard something faint as I walked past it and started walking toward our car, and it was a very, very faint, "Help me." And I kind of looked at Crystal. I thought she was messing with me a little bit. Looked around, still didn't see anything, and I heard it again. So I kind of walked back over toward the building, and down between the sidewalk in the front of the van, this very heavy-set, kind of older lady had fallen down, and she was wedged between the front of the vehicle and the curb, and she couldn't get up. And so I went over and I tried to help her up, and she was quite big. It was not easy, and it struck me that it definitely wasn't the first time that this has happened. As I was trying to pick her up, she told me to place my feet in front of her feet and to grab her wrist and to lean back as I picked her up. She told me that's what the firefighters do when this happens. Like, this is a common occurrence for her. And I couldn't make it happen that way. I tried a couple times, and I finally just bent forward and put her in a bear hug and just kind of lifted her up. And the whole time she had a little, like one of those oxygen machines, and she had a little dog in the vehicle. So feeling kind of bad that she wiped out and she couldn't really stand up very well, I walked her into the Boston Market and stood in line with her. And Christmas Eve, it doesn't matter where you go, it's going to be busy. So I waited in line. She couldn't stand up very well, so I got her a chair, and I had her sit off to the side, and I stood in line for her. And I'd already eaten all my food, but I figured I'd wait for her and I'd help her order. And I had to get her out of the chair to bring her up and to get the order. And a lot of the people in the line were asking me if if that was my grandmother or my mother, and it wasn't. And it was so a lot of other people in the room were showing gratitude that I was doing it for her. But she just seemed to not care. She could have cared less. And she ordered a meal. I'll never forget this either. She ordered a meal for 4. It was just her. It was only her. And if there were 3 more people that were going to be involved in this dinner, and you sent your poor grandmother or mother that can barely move around out to go get that food, shame on you. But I don't believe that was the case. I believe that she just went out there on her own to get a meal for 4 at Boston Market on Christmas Eve. That's some lonely stuff, and I felt really bad. So I stood there, I got her food, and as I walked her out, she said, "I can't believe you walked past me." When she was down on the ground, she kind of made a snarled remark, and I didn't really say much. I just kind of brought her over, and I said Merry Christmas to her, and I helped her get in her vehicle, and she never even thanked me. I almost ran my foot over when she drove out of there. So that one kind of got to me a little bit, because, she could have at least, got me a thing of green bean casserole or something, asked me if I wanted a dessert. She didn't even give me one of them firm handshakes. So, that was one of those times that I was a little angry. I had taken 30 minutes out of my evening to do that for them. It was 20 at least. Not even a thank you. Not even a firm handshake. So, lesson learned. That was a tough one for me. So, I don't think, and she probably doesn't even remember. That's probably it's not even a blip on her radar. That's going to stick with me for a while. I think there was another one. I had another one that I was thinking of today. Wasn't gratitude. What was it? Oh, you ever see those people? Like I'm wearing this shirt right now. It's a Star Wars shirt. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm a Star Wars fan. I mean, I do enjoy Star Wars, but I couldn't name. I could probably only name 4 characters from all those movies. So to a Star Wars fan, I'm not the guy. I'm lame. But that doesn't mean I don't enjoy wearing the shirt. Now, I know to some of these people, that's extremely offensive. I don't know. It's like if you're wearing red in a Blood neighborhood or even in a Crips neighborhood, you just don't wear... Apparently, you're just supposed to wear clear stuff when you go into those neighborhoods. But back to the shirt, I got called out one day. And it was kind of embarrassing because I just, I never thought I would be one of those guys that, I saw doing that, wearing the shirt and not knowing what they were doing. But we went out shopping one day and I was wearing a Skid Row t-shirt. And, just a shirt I grabbed one day. It was a cool shirt. I liked kind of stonewashed looking, red lettering. Everybody was doing it. Everybody's wearing the Metallica and all these other shirts. So I was wearing this shirt and we were downtown. We were in a shop. And as I was walking through, the guy kind of gave me this crazy look and he was like, "Hey, wonder what Sebastian Bach's up to right now." And to be honest, we had just had lunch and had some drinks and I really didn't even know what he was asking me at the time. And I just kind of turned to him and was like, "Why would you ask me that question?" And he gave me the look like I needed to surrender my adulthood. I don't know what he just looked at me like I had done something extremely wrong. And I don't even know if he was a Sebastian Bach fan, but I'll tell you what I did do after that. I went and brushed up on information because, I don't want to be put on that spot anymore. Have you ever had that? Have you ever been in a situation where, you were just wearing something, you didn't know that it signified something so important to people that you were going to offend them? Yeah, I offended somebody just by wearing that shirt. He was off put that I didn't know what Sebastian Bach was up to. I'm going to assume cocaine and hookers. That's what most heavy metal or hair band rockers from that time period were probably doing. So, or he's probably on one of those juice kicks. Why is that? Why is it that it's always the guy that parties the hardest that finds Jesus or finds, becomes vegan and starts only juicing? That was the guy that used to do cocaine on strippers' butts, and now all of a sudden he only eats raw food. Is it that you've experienced the farthest depth of the other end that you feel no choice but to try to gain a couple of those days back on your life? Or, I think you should just ride it into the sunset. Some of these dudes are making it pretty far in their career. Willie, I don't think Willie was doing a lot of hard drugs, maybe some psychedelics and smoking weed. But I will say on the weed to alcohol point, I'm not going to get into the whole one's medicine and one's better for you or other, but you got to look at some of these like long-term potheads. They seem to be holding up a little bit better than, like, look at Willie Nelson compared to like Nick Nolte or John Daly. And I know John Daly, a lot of those guys are probably doing all of the drugs. But look at somebody that's a consistent drinker, really abusing it, trying to drink as much as Willie is smoking or Snoop Dogg is smoking. I gotta say that I think that marijuana might be the healthier of the two, unless you're susceptible to lung cancer or obesity from the munchies. I mean, I think the alcohol might not be those guys get bloated, their livers get all messed up. I think you should probably just smoke some weed. But who am I? I mean, that's not my business. Huh. Yeah, that's all I got. It's really all I got for you tonight. I don't really have a lot. I just wanted to get on here, kind of reset the settings on the mic, and I wanted to see how it sounded, test a different angle on the camera, see my ugly mug. So this is another little episode of the Bernie Dyke Podcast. Thank you guys for bearing with me, and until the next one.